even lower time. Malero has a best lap time of 107.395. Stefano just posted a 106.492 crossing start finish. It's a lovely day for racing here at Laguna Seca as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Simon of the Desert is on his practice out lap. It's a lovely day for racing here at Laguna Seca as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. With just 3 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Ryan Wilson posted 107.765 on his last lap, and will be pushing hard for an even lower time.
Wilson is not giving up and will be looking for every 10th.
Narwhal has a best lap time of 108.831. Narwhal has a best lap time of 108.831.
The time clock can be a cruel mistress that is all too willing to show you your faults.
Narwhal just posted a 108.501 crossing start finish. Simon of the Desert is on his practice out lap. O-Desert is getting to grips with the ASRL 99 kart road in this practice session. Simon of the Desert is in turn 5. With just 0 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Adam has a best lap time of 107.645.
If there is still time on the clock, there is still time to improve.
Simon of the Desert posted 125.927 on his last lap, and will be pushing hard for an even lower time. Simon just posted a 125.927 crossing start finish. Simon of the Desert has a best lap time of 1:25.927. With just 0 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations.
There is always more time to be found, but narwhal is not guaranteed to find it.
Narwhal has a best lap time of 1:07.944.
Narwhal is not giving up and will be looking for every 10th.
It's a lovely day for racing here at Laguna Seca as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Let's get this qualifying session underway here at Laguna Seca.
Let's see who's got the speed and the skills to take the pole position.
The adrenaline is pumping. Adam is on his out lap, warming up the tires and getting ready to put in a fast lap time. That ASRL 99 kart road looks good driving through turn 3. Adam is working his way through turn 6.
There's a spot near here where the teenagers sneak off to make out.
You can feel the tension building. Sketty is out on track and getting ready to push for his qualifying time.
This is the moment he's been preparing for. Let's see if he can execute.
Sketty is expertly commanding that car through turn 3. Sketty appears focused and prepared driving through Ray Hall Straight. It's all about strategy in these early moments. David Zahn is taking his time to prepare for his qualifying run and get everything just right. David Zahn crosses the start-finish line at the end of his outlap. David Zahn is looking relatively composed going through turn 3. Adam will be looking. As Adam completes the outlap, he will be hoping there's enough space on track to fully attack on the flying lap. This is what it's all about. Ryan Wilson is putting everything he's got into this qualifying session.
Ryan certainly is nailing this one. This is shaping up to be a great performance.
The pressure is on in this qualifying session, but Adam is rising to the occasion.
It's always impressive to see a driver in the zone like this, Marco. Let's see if he can maintain this pace.
Adam is keeping his head down through turn 6.
This is such a great track. I need to make it back here more often.
Adam has just completed that lap in 107.119, which is 0.169 off the best time, putting him in P3. Sketty is on his first flying lap.
Let's see if he can put a good marker down.
Sketty is driving through turn 10. Sketty has completed that flying lap in 109.051, which is good enough for P5, down 2.101 to the leader. There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. Sketty is now up 0.61 in turn 4. Sketty is 0.72 up driving through the corkscrew. Sketty has some work to do, as his best time of 108.624 is only good enough for 6th.
That's not a bad time, but I am sure he will keep working on that 1.674 gap to pole.
Ryan Wilson is working his way through turn 10. Ryan Wilson is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 106.087. Malero is in the green by 0.16. Malero is currently up 0.21 going through turn 6.
All we can do now is wish Malero luck as the start-finish line approaches.
Sketty is up 0.41. David Zahn is now up 2.39. David Zahn has some work to do, as his best time of 107.798 is only good enough for 6th. That ASRL 99 kart road looks good driving through turn 6. Stefano Amadei will be happy, with a time good enough for 4th in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. He is surely working on that 1.177 gap to pole.
Malero has improved by 0.46. Malero is expertly commanding that car through turn 10. Malero will be happy, with a time good enough for 2nd in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for him to find that missing 0.596, but that won't stop him from trying.
Stefano Amadei appears focused and prepared driving through rainy curve. Stefano Amade will be happy, with a time good enough for third in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. He is surely working on that 0.699 gap to pole.
Oyat 2389 will be happy, with a time good enough for fourth in this qualifying session. Oyat 2389 will be happy, with a time good enough for fourth in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for him to find that missing 0.98, but that won't stop him from trying.
There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Narwhal is driving through turn 3 and is up 0.24.
If Narwhal looks at that delta too much, it may end up being a distraction, and all that time he found may be lost.
Narwhal has improved by 0.16 up through turn 6.
The rest of this lap is no cakewalk. Let's hope he can keep it up.
Simon of the Desert has found an extra 1.72. Narwhal has some work to do, as his best time of 107.653 is only good enough for 6th. Simon of the Desert is up 1.47. Simon of the Desert has some work to do, as his best time of 111.307 is only good enough for 9th.
There's at least 5.22 seconds to be found, but Simon may be looking for it in the wrong places.
Simon of the Desert is in the green by 0.84, making his way through turn 3.
This is where drivers have to decide to push for more or just try to maintain it.
Simon of the Desert is now up 1.46 in Ray Hall Straight. Simon of the Desert has some work to do, as his best time of 109.392 is only good enough for 9th. Simon of the Desert is down 0.18 seconds on the way through turn 3. Simon of the Desert is looking relatively composed going through turn 6.
There's a great spot near here to kick back with a cold drink and enjoy the beauty of it all.
Simon of the Desert is 1.04 up driving through turn 10.
There's no guarantee that Simon can maintain this delta through the rest of the lap.
Oyat 2389 is now up 0.12. Narwhal has found an extra 0.28. Narwhal is driving through turn 5.
Fuel, fumes, fans, and fights, turn 5 has it all.
Narwhal is keeping his head down through turn 10.
If Narwhal listens closely, the sounds of cheering fans should just barely be audible over the roar of the engine.
Narwhal will be happy, with a time good enough for 4th in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. He is surely working on that 0.764 gap to pole.
It's an impressive showing by Simon of the Desert, currently in 9th. He's showcased his talent, but will need to find those crucial extra tenths to climb higher. Simon of the Desert has some work to do, as his best time of 1:08.185 is only good enough for 8th.
That's not a bad time, but I am sure he will keep working on that 2.098 gap to pole.
Incredible drive by Oyat 2389 so far, earning him 4th. The competition is fierce, however, and he'll need to quickly find more time to get even closer to the sharp end of the grid.
I completely agree, Marco. Oyat 2389 has plenty of opportunity starting in 4th. However, it's crucial for him to keep pushing and make up some positions in the race.
Oyat 2389 will be happy, with a time good enough for 2nd in this qualifying session. A strong showing from Narwhal as he's currently in 5th. With the session drawing to a close, he'll need to dig deep and find that extra burst of speed to improve. That ASRL 99 kart road looks good driving through turn 3.
The action and glory drivers have lived here at turn 3 is truly historic.
Narwhal is working his way through turn 10. It's a beautifully calm day here at Laguna Seca, as we're getting ready to kick things off.
The drivers are looking focused out there on the grid. I'm excited for this one, Marco.
Ryan Wilson will have the best seat in the house starting from pole position.
He can't let his guard down. The other drivers will be gunning for him.
Starting on the front row gives Oyat 2389 the best possible chance at challenging for the lead.
He will have to be smart about his moves. He must not burn out too early.
Taking the 3rd spot is Stefano Amadei.
Stefano will be taking no prisoners today.
Malero has qualified 4th.
I think we are all looking forward to seeing what Malero can do from here.
Narwhal is holding down the fort in 5th place.
Another good start for the American driver.
Adam will begin the race from the 6th spot on the starting grid.
Adam is in a good place to mount a good challenge come the first corner.
In the middle of the pack, we have David Zahn starting from the 7th position on the grid.
The American driver has been driving the wheels off the ASRL 99 kart road in practice.
Lining up in 8th is Simon of the Desert.
Sometimes the underdog can surprise you. Let's see what he's got in the tank.
Sketty will be looking to gain ground quickly starting from 9th on the grid.
Another mid-pack start for Sketty.
And just like that, the race has started. Now, we'll see who has the skill and nerve to outmaneuver their rivals.
This is where the driver's true abilities will be put to the test. Staying calm and collected while pushing for the lead is the ultimate challenge.
Races are often more about maintaining consistency than having outright pace, but it doesn't hurt to have a little good luck every now and then.
There are a few drivers with a point to prove, and a few with some grudges to bear. Let's hope they can keep it clean.
I think passing is going to be difficult today here at Laguna Seca, so it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers get on. It's brilliant to see such a full grid here today.
I'd love to be on track burning some rubber here, Marco.
It's game on now. Narwhal has closed the gap to Stefano Amadei. It's now down to 0.4 seconds. As a former racing driver, Janet, how challenging was it to adapt your driving style to account for tire degradation throughout a race?
It was a constant challenge, Marco. Tire degradation can change the car's balance and handling, so drivers need to be versatile and adaptable. It requires continuous adjustments to driving techniques and a keen understanding of the car's behavior.
Narwhal seems to be putting the pressure on Stefano Amadei.
To achieve anything in this game, you must be prepared to dabble at the boundary of disaster.
Hold up, braking in front. A brilliant maneuver from Sketty, who has just moved up the field. Looks like we might have a great battle starting here between Adam in fourth and Stefano Amadei. It's been tense with a gap of only 0.4 seconds. Hold on a moment. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line.
It's a real shame. Until this point in the race he'd been looking at a decent result.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Adam is chasing Narwhal in P3.
It's all about finding the perfect opportunity. Adam needs to stay patient and wait for Narwhal to make a mistake.
And Adam has just won the place from Narwhal. It's a tense battle for position between Narwhal in fourth and Stefano Amadei in 5. Narwhal is keeping Stefano Amadei at bay with a gap of 0.1 seconds.
It's an intense race between these two drivers and Stefano is going to have to try something here.
It looks like Malero is all over Stefano Amadei going through Ray Hall Straight, increasing the pressure at breaking news, folks. Great driving from Malero, who has just gained a place and moved up to 5th. Adam has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Oh Yeah 2389. I expect his only hope at this point is that Oh Yeah makes an error.
Anything can happen yet, and it usually does. I've certainly seen drivers come back from worse.
Things are going according to— wait. Looks like that's a mistake from Narwhal. This could be costly.
Narwhal is not going to be happy about that.
Adam is running third, and trying to keep up with Oh Yeah 2389.
This is where every inch counts. Adam is pushing hard to close the gap on Oh Yeah 2389.
These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. I would not be surprised to see him get this pass completed soon.
Look at that. Adam is hot on the tail of Oh Yeah 2389. Adam appears to be losing ground on Oh Yeah 2389. He'll need to pick up the pace a bit heading into Andretti hairpin to get a good exit and gain some ground.
It's not over yet, but Adam needs to get a move on if they want to catch up to Oh Yeah.
Hey, Janet, you've had your fair share of races with little action. How did you handle the situation back in your racing days?
Well, Marco, patience is key in such scenarios. You need to stay focused and be ready to seize any opportunity that comes your way. It's like a game of chess at 200 miles per hour.
Things are heating up as David Zahn closes in on Simon of the Desert. The gap between them is down to practically nothing. It looks like Simon of the Desert is pulling away from David Zahn. The gap is continuing to grow as they head through the corkscrew.
This is where the mental toughness of David comes into play. He'll need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when things aren't going his way.
Well, it looks like we have a bit of a traffic jam on the track.
It's like rush hour out there. I mean, I know we're in a race, but
Stop the press. Big gains for David Zahn as they move up the field, leaving Simon of the Desert behind. Hold on a moment. An impressive showing from Simon of the Desert, who has gained positions and left David Zahn in the dust.
yes, but Simon needs to keep pushing hard. This race is far from over, and anything can happen. Simon needs to stay focused and drive with skill and determination.
The intensity is hold up, breaking info. I don't think that's the fastest way around Laguna Seca. The battle for P8 is heating up as Simon of the Desert tries to catch David Zahn in P8. Hold that thought. That won't be ideal for Simon of the Desert.
Laguna Seca is always a test for these drivers, and sometimes that's the way it goes.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Stefano Amadei, who is currently in P6. It's not going to plan for Stefano Amadei, who is trailing behind Malero and the gap is widening. He may not have an answer for this right now.
This is a frustrating situation for Stefano, but he can't give up just yet. He'll need to keep pushing and hope for a mistake from Malero.
That's not a small gap, but Adam has what it takes to challenge for the position.
It's going to be tough for Adam, as Oh Yeah seems to have found his rhythm.
The gap between Adam and Oh Yeah 2389 is getting smaller. A solid performance from Narwhal, who is holding down fourth. Some great driving from Narwhal, who has increased his lead over Malero and is starting to put some distance between them.
That's a really strong performance from Narwhal. He's not giving Malero any chances to catch up.
The track conditions are looking good here today. The drivers will be able to push the cars to the limit and it's going to make for some exciting racing. Adam is looking for a way to close that gap to Oh Yeah 2389. Adam is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Oh Yeah 2389 to 0.6 seconds.
He'll be looking for a mistake to pounce on.
It's a brilliant day for racing here at Laguna Seca. I'm really enjoying this.
This race is truly epic. What a treat to be sat here witnessing this spectacle.
The pressure is on as Adam works on catching up to Oh Yeah 2389. Well, it doesn't look like Malero is going to be much of a threat to anyone soon, let alone Narwhal.
It's not over until the checkered flag drops, and it's important to maintain concentration until you've made it to the finish line.
It's looking good. Hold on a second. Oh dear, Ryan Wilson has had an incident. The race is really heating up. Adam is hunting down Oyat 2389 with everything he's got.
This is where every inch counts. Adam is pushing hard to close the gap on Oya. Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
Adam is trying his best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Oyat 2389 at the moment.
Adam needs to get it together to make a dent in that gap.
Ryan Wilson is pushing to maintain the lead, while Narwhal is working to close in and challenge for the position.
Narwhal needs to find a little extra speed to bring the fight to Wilson and move up the field.
Adam is running second, and trying to catch Oyat 2389. It's not looking good for Adam, who is still behind Oyat 2389, and the gap is increasing. The pressure is on as Adam tries to catch up to Oyat 2389. Ryan Wilson is placed third at the moment. He's pulling away. Ryan Wilson is increasing the gap to Narwhal. Adam is giving it his all, chasing down Oyat 2389 in P1.
Adam is really pushing the limits. He's riding the curves and hustling that ASRL 99 kart road like a boss.
It looks like we might get a battle between Adam and Oyat 2389. You know, Janet, I've always wondered, how do racing drivers stay so cool and collected under such immense pressure?
Well, Marco, it comes down to mental strength and training. Drivers often work with sports psychologists and practice techniques like meditation and visualization to help them stay calm and focused during high-pressure situations.
Adam is staying focused while chasing Oyat 2389 in P1.
We'll have to wait to see if Adam can get into drafting range.
A strong showing from Sketty, who is currently 7th.
That's right. Sketty can't afford to make any mistakes or let up. Every point counts in this championship.
Adam is on a mission, chasing Oyat 2389, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. Adam appears to be losing ground on Oyat 2389. He'll need to pick up the pace a bit heading into Andretti hairpin to get a good exit and gain some ground.
Adam needs to focus and keep pushing, even when—
Braking alert. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line.
Did the wind contribute to that? It's blowing at 1 kph out there right now.
I'm sure Ryan Wilson in second is starting to notice Adam is right on his tail, and is still closing the gap.
Absolutely, Wilson in second is doing a fantastic job of maintaining his lead, but he can't afford to make a single mistake. Adam is looking for any opportunity to make a move. This could be a battle to the finish line.
Excellent work from Ryan Wilson, who has managed to increase his lead over Adam.
It's clear that Ryan is dominating right now. He's making it very difficult for Adam to catch up.
The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure Narwhal is going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. He's not giving up without a fight. It's certainly not going to plan for Narwhal right now, who is struggling to keep up with Adam.
This is a tough situation for Narwhal. He'll need to find a way to pick up some speed and close that gap.
It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Narwhal gaining places and Adam losing them.
Definitely, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and anything can happen. Narwhal needs to keep driving with focus and intensity.
Things don't seem to be going Stefano Amade's way in this race, as that's a big gap he'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here.
Stefano certainly isn't going to be close enough to mount any kind of challenge soon unless it's down to a mistake from Adam.
Good news for Stefano Amade, the gap to Adam has decreased. It's now down to 1.7 seconds. It's all about consistency for Malero, who is currently fourth.
Yes.
Hold on a moment. Look at this, Janet, what a shame for Malero. He's lost P4 to Adam, and that's got to hurt.
Malero just got served a big slice of Eat My Dust by Adam. Hope he's got his eating pants on.
It looks like Stefano Amade is in control. He's ahead of Malero by over a second, and it doesn't look like he's going to be challenged anytime soon.
Stefano is doing a great job of defending in the lead, and Malero is pushing hard to close the gap. It's an exciting race and it's not over yet.
Fantastic move from Stefano Amade, who has just gained a position.
Amazing stuff. Focus and precision, what it's all about.
The gap between Stefano Amade and Malero is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from Stefano to even allow Malero to get a look in. It looks like Stefano Amade is pulling away from Malero. The gap is continuing to grow as they head through turn 4.
This is not ideal for Malero, but there's still time to turn this around. He'll need to focus and not let that gap get any bigger.
David Zahn is trying his best to catch Sketty. It looks like David Zahn is making a move. The gap to Sketty is now down to 0.6 seconds. This is a thrilling battle as David Zahn edges closer to Sketty in their fight for P7. A solid performance from Stefano Amade, who is holding down fourth. A commanding performance from Stefano Amade, who has increased his lead over Malero, putting him firmly in his rear view mirrors.
It's really looking like Stefano is going to be tough to pass today. He's driving with real confidence and authority.
It's looking good for Adam, sitting in sixth.
Definitely Marco, but Adam can't afford to get complacent. This race is going to require focus and intensity.
Impressive stuff from Adam, who has managed to pull away from David Zahn, leaving him choking in his exhaust fumes.
Agreed, Marco. Superb driving there. If they keep this up, this race should be a real thrill ride.
You know, Janet, it's been a relatively quiet race so far.
That's right, Marco. The drivers seem to be pacing themselves and waiting for the right moment to make their move. It's like watching a slow dance.
The pursuit is on. Malero is working on that gap to Stefano Amadei, determined to claim P4. It seems like Malero is struggling and not able to maintain his pace.
Malero needs to regroup and refocus and knock it up a notch.
It doesn't seem like things are going to plan for Ryan Wilson, as there is a big gap ahead.
Anything can happen yet, and it usually does. I've certainly seen drivers come back from worse.
The gap between Ryan Wilson and Oyat 2389 is getting smaller. You know, Janet, during a long race like this, how easy is it for a driver to experience a lapse in concentration?
It can be quite easy, Marco. With so many factors to consider and the intense focus required, even the most experienced drivers can have a momentary lapse. That's why mental training and staying in the zone are so important.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Malero trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Stefano Amadei. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. It's game on now. Malero has closed the gap to Stefano Amadei. It's now down to 1.2 seconds.
This is what racing is all about, hard-fought battles with as much determination as respect, between friends and enemies alike.
Ryan Wilson is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift.
One important aspect here is choosing the right braking points. Wilson needs to be precise to avoid overshooting and losing valuable time.
Things are going according to plan for Narwhal, who is currently third.
Definitely, but he can't get too comfortable. There are plenty of other drivers gunning for that position, and Narwhal has to keep pushing to stay on the pace.
Adam is placed 6th at the moment. This is where the race gets really interesting. David Zahn is closing in on Sketty.
The gap between them is just over 0.4 seconds, which can feel like miles if you're trailing and not catching up.
Things are heating up as Ryan Wilson tries to close the gap to Oyat 2389. Every move counts now as David Zahn works to reel in Sketty and overtake for P7.
Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Zahn needs to be careful not to overdo it.
Oyat 2389 is on fire in the last sector. And it's a checkered flag for Oyat 2389, who crosses the finish line with a commanding victory. What a phenomenal performance, absolutely dominant today.
And that's why Oh Yeah is one of the best in the business. A dominant display of driving from start to finish, leaving the rest of the pack in the dust.
Some might say that second place is the first loser, but Ryan Wilson certainly doesn't see it that way. He put in a phenomenal effort and should be proud of his podium finish. Impressive drive from Narwhal to claim the final spot on the podium.
What a drive, well-deserved spot on the podium with that performance.
Stefano Amadei and Malero end in 4th and 5th. In 6th, it's David Zahn. Taking 7th is Sketty. 9th is Simon of the Desert. It's a very still day here at Laguna Seca, as we're getting ready to get things underway. Starting on the front row is a great opportunity for David Zahn to challenge for the lead.
He can't let that advantage go to waste. He will need to stay focused and keep his eyes on the prize.
On the third grid slot we have Malero.
The Brazilian driver will be focused on a good result from here.
Watch out for Stefano Amadei, starting from the fourth grid position in today's race.
Let's see what Stefano can do.
It's Narwhal, sitting comfortably in fifth.
Like many others, Narwhal is starting the race on the Hards tire compound.
As the drivers prepare to take off, Ryan Wilson sits in sixth place on the starting grid.
Ryan will be ready to show what he's made of.
Oyat 2389 is lining up 7th. Our 8th place starter, Adam, is a driver who knows how to make up ground on the track.
An opportunity for some good points today, but the others aren't going to make it easy.
Simon of the Desert is 9th. Sketty will lead the way from pole position.
He can't afford to get complacent. He will have a target on his back now.
The green flag is waving and we're off to the races. Let's see who can get out in front and establish an early lead.
The opening lap is often a hotbed of potential problems. The ability to steer clear of any mishaps will set the stage for a successful race.
This is going to be one hell of a race. I can already feel it. Having started in P4, Stefano Amadei will be hoping for a good result in this race. As we watch the drivers fight it out in the first lap, I can already feel that this is going to be an epic race. David Zahn will be studying the nearby drivers and looking for anything that could give them an advantage.
With this motley bunch of drivers, there is bound to be drama. I just hope we don't miss it.
There's not much to report on from Oyad 2389 at the moment. He's just keeping his head down and putting in consistent laps.
Sometimes that's all it takes to secure a good result. Oyad 2389 just needs to stay focused and avoid any mistakes.
A great pass for Oyad 2389, swapping places with Narwhal to move up the field. The pursuit is on. Wait, what a move. Oyad 2389 has moved up to second. The action is heating up here as Malero is in third, defending from Adam, who is only 0. Stop the press. This is not looking good for Malero. He's just lost third to Adam. At this point his strategy seems to be failing him. Oh, this is getting intense. Narwhal is just a few car lengths behind Malero.
Narwhal is looking to close the 0.3 second gap and make a pass.
While speeding through turn 10, Ryan Wilson is relentlessly pursuing Narwhal in a high-stakes battle for position.
This battle between
Hold that thought. Superb driving from Ryan Wilson, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race.
Impressive. Wilson is really showing his skill and determination out there.
Malero is placed 6th at the moment, and hoping to keep his distance ahead of Stefano. Stop the press. Tough break for Malero, who has just lost a position. This is a tough break for Braking alert. I don't think that's the fastest way around Laguna Seca. This one's going to be tough. Ryan Wilson is getting his elbows out, and there may not be enough time left for Stefano Amadei to make a move. Look at that. Stefano Amadei is hot on the tail of Ryan Wilson.
You can see that car bouncing around as it rides the curves. It's a risky move that could end in disaster.
The battle for P7 is heating up as David Zahn tries to catch Simon of the Desert in P7. David Zahn is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Simon of the Desert to 0.4 seconds.
This is where the pressure really starts to build. A driver that stays calm and focused is more likely to come out on top.
Oh, this is getting intense. Oyad 2389 needs to keep steady in his sights. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. David Zahn is chasing Simon of the Desert in P7. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled from being pushed for every last bit of speed. Looks like Ryan Wilson is really hitting those curves aggressively, which can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. The racing is getting tight between Wilson and Adam as they battle for P4. No doubt, both drivers know that one mistake could cost them the position. It's a test of nerves as much as skill.
No room for error here. David Zahn is wait. A great moment for David Zahn, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings.
That's what we like to see. David is really showing his class today.
The race is really heating up. Narwhal is hunting down Sketty with everything he's got. Ryan Wilson is on a mission, chasing Adam, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. Sketty wants to find a way round Adam.
And Sketty is poised to capitalize on any mistake. It's just a matter of who cracks first.
It's like watching two predators circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce.
This is what separates the good from the great. The ability to stay.
Braking update. A brilliant maneuver from Ryan Wilson, who has just moved up the field. Sketty has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Stefano Amadei. I expect his only hope at this point is that Stefano makes an error. Narwhal is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. David Zahn is giving it his all. Braking update. It's looking good for David Zahn, who has gained a place after passing Sketty.
Go, 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 that's what we want to see.
This is proving. Braking alert. Looks like that's a mistake from Sketty. This could be costly.
Oops, Sketty is going to be wishing that hadn't happened.
Things are heating up as Narwhal tries to close the gap to Oyad 2389. These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. Don't forget the role of aerodynamics. Adam should use slipstreaming to his advantage.
Braking development. Great driving from Adam, who has just gained a place and moved up to second.
You can't argue with results like that. Adam is really making his mark on this race.
This is a thrilling battle as Narwhal edges closer to Adam in their fight for P2. It's not going to plan for Narwhal, who is trailing behind Adam and the gap is widening. He may not have an answer for this right now. Ryan Wilson is staying focused while chasing Narwhal in P3. It looks like we might get a battle between Ryan Wilson and Narwhal.
This is where the race gets really exciting. Both drivers will be pushing to the limit to gain the advantage.
Anyone who says that ASRL is not the best racing club on the planet is clearly insane. The quality of driving we're seeing out there on the track is absolutely phenomenal.
I couldn't agree more. It's like these drivers were born to race. They're weaving in and out of traffic, taking corners at unbelievable speeds, and making it all look effortless. It's clear that they've put in the time and effort to hone their skills.
This is where the race gets really interesting. Adam is closing in on Oyad 2389.
It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. Adam is really walking that fine line.
The drivers are getting faster as they settle into their cars and get used to the conditions, with Adam just putting in his best lap so far with a 1 minute. The pursuit is on. Narwhal is closing the gap on Adam, determined to claim P2.
The gap between them is just over 0.4 seconds. Can Narwhal close that gap and get back in range? I can't see it happening at this point.
It seems like Narwhal is struggling. His last lap time was a bit off the pace of Adam.
It will be interesting to see if Adam can keep outpacing Narwhal.
The gap between Adam and Narwhal may be wide, but that doesn't mean Adam is safe. He's got to maintain concentration and avoid any lapses in performance. Looking at the lap times, Adam is not currently on pace with Narwhal. Maybe he'll get a chance to see where to make up some time.
Hopefully Adam.
Breaking news, folks. That won't be ideal for Narwhal.
Narwhal is not going to be happy about that.
It looks like Adam is pushing hard to catch up to Oyat 2389. A setback for Adam, who has just been passed.
Sucks to be the Marco.
As a former driver, Janet, how did you manage the physical demands of racing?
It's all about preparation, Marco. Drivers undergo rigorous fitness training to build their strength, stamina, and flexibility. A proper diet and hydration plan is also essential to ensure peak performance on race day.
Narwhal is running fourth and trying to catch Adam.
The mental game is just as important here. Narwhal must keep his cool while putting pressure on Adam.
Breaking update. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Narwhal is chasing Adam in P3. The pressure is on as Stefano Amadei tries to catch up to Narwhal.
Stefano needs to focus to have a chance at getting past Narwhal.
Oh, this is getting intense. Narwhal is just a few car lengths behind Adam. Looks like Stefano Amadei is really hitting those curves aggressively, which can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer.
The gap between Stefano Amadei and Narwhal is widening. It's now up to 0.8 seconds.
It's not over yet, but Stefano needs to get a move on if they want to catch up to Narwhal.
Sketty is running ninth and trying to keep up with Simon of the Desert.
The gap between them is now just over 0.7 seconds.
It looks like Sketty is making a move. The gap to Simon of the Desert is now down to 0.5 seconds. Hold the phone. What a move. Stefano Amadei has moved up to fourth. Janet, what's the impact of tire degradation on race strategy? How does it affect a driver's approach to the race?
Tire degradation plays a crucial role in race strategy, Marco. Teams and drivers have to consider the optimal time to pit for fresh tires and adjust their race pace to balance speed with tire conservation. It adds another layer of complexity to the racing challenge.
This is a thrilling battle as Sketty edges closer to Simon of the Desert in their fight for P8. It's all about consistency for Oyat 2389, who is currently first. Oh no, Janet, look at this. Ryan Wilson is closing in on Oyat 2389. The gap is now braking alert. I don't think that's the fastest way around Laguna Seca. Stefano Amadei is trying to catch up to Adam. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish. Hold on a moment. And Stefano Amadei has just won the place from Adam.
Absolutely, Marco. But there's still a long way to go in this race, and Stefano can't afford to get complacent.
Narwhal is on a mission, chasing Adam, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. Sketty is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. Braking alert. Fantastic move from Sketty, who has just gained a position. Simon of the Desert is giving it his all, chasing down Sketty in P8. Good news for Simon of the Desert, the gap to Sketty has decreased. It's now down to 0.3 seconds. The drivers are really pushing their limits out there on the track.
It's like they're trying to outrun the laws of physics. But we all know that's impossible, or is it? I mean, we're a couple of computerized robots commenting on a race. Anything can happen.
Bad jokes notwithstanding, you have a point there. And speaking of pushing limits, these cars are breaking records left and right.
They're so fast, it's like they're breaking the sound barrier, or at least the speed limit.
I hope the police aren't watching. Things don't seem to be going Malero's way in this race, as that's a big gap he'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here.
Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that Malero is going to have to get more serious with practice to not get outclassed on the circuit.
The gap between Malero and Stefano Amadei is getting smaller.
That's a great effort from Malero. He'll need to keep up the pressure and see if he can make a move.
Well, it doesn't look like Adam is going to be much of a threat to anyone soon, let alone David Zahn.
It's not over until the checkered flag drops, and it's important to maintain concentration until you've made it to the finish line.
Look at that, Malero is hot on the tail of Stefano Amadei.
It's a game of strategy now as Malero hunts down Stefano. Yes, it's all about choosing the right moments to push and when to conserve energy, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike.
It's not looking good for Malero, who is still behind Stefano Amadei, and the gap is increased. Stop the press. Oh dear, Stefano Amadei has had an incident. Simon of the Desert will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops.
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as Simon can close that gap.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled from being pushed for every last bit of speed.
Narwhal is really pushing the limits. He's riding the curbs and hustling that ASRL 99 kart road like a boss.
Narwhal is trying his best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Stefano Amadei at the moment. Braking development. Looks like that's a mistake from Adam. This could be costly.
Laguna Seca is always a test for these drivers, and sometimes that's the way it goes.
Rising to the occasion and claiming victory would hope to cement Narwhal's legendary status.
It's a battle for position as Narwhal tries to make a move on Stefano. This is what racing is all about.
Narwhal appears to be losing ground on Stefano Amadei. He'll need to pick up the pace a bit heading into turn 11 to get a good exit and gain some ground. Hold the phone. Disappointing for Narwhal, falling down the order to 6th. I'm curious, Janet, can you tell us about any pre-race rituals you had when you were racing?
Of course, Marco. Before every race, I would listen to a specific playlist of songs to help me get in the zone. I also had a lucky pair of socks that I would wear during races. It may sound silly, but those little rituals helped me feel prepared and focused.
The pressure is on as Simon of the Desert works on catching up to Sketty. It seems like Simon of the Desert is pushing hard, currently on track to record his best lap so far this race. The tension is building as Simon of the Desert trails behind Sketty. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. The gap between Stefano Amadei and David Zahn is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from Stefano to even allow David to get a look in.
Zahn certainly isn't going to be close enough to mount any kind of challenge soon unless it's down to a mistake from Stefano.
David Zahn is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Stefano Amadei to 2.0 seconds.
He'll be looking for a mistake to pounce on.
Hold on a second. Superb driving from David Zahn, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race.
Yes, Zahn is driving with real focus and precision, and it's paying off.
It doesn't seem like things are going to plan for Stefano Amadei as there is a big gap ahead.
Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that Stefano is going to have to get more serious with practice to not get outclassed on the circuit.
These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. We'll have to wait to see if Simon can use the draft to his advantage, or if the lack of downforce will hinder his progress.
The gap between Simon of the Desert and Sketty is growing. It's now up to 3.8 seconds. Fantastic racing on show here today. And it's not just the top drivers who are impressing us. Even the drivers at the back of the pack are putting up a good fight, battling it out for every position.
It's a testament to the level of competition at ASRL. Even the smallest mistake can cost you valuable seconds, or even lead to a crash. But these drivers are up to the challenge, and they're giving it their all. It's clear that ASRL really is the place to be for top quality racing.
This will require some expert driving from Sketty. Adam is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. Wow, Oh Yeah 2389 is really pushing hard in these final moments of the race.
Oh Yeah is not leaving anything on the table.
What a win! This is a historic moment for Oh Yeah 2389. Who put on a masterclass in driving today. What a display of skill and precision. Impressive second place finish for Ryan Wilson. Coming in ninth, we have Simon of the Desert. That was an outstanding performance from Malero. He fought hard and took the final spot on the podium. David Zahn brings home fourth. Fifth sees Stefano Amadei. Narwhal takes sixth. followed by Sketty in 7th. With Adam in 8th.